everyone, it's Jenny. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button down below and let's go ahead and get started. So I'm so happy that it's finally fall. It's not fall-ish like here in California. It's actually still pretty dang hot. This week is actually gonna hit like the 90s, so not looking forward to that. Wished that it would get a lot cooler now because I'm over the heat. I'm so over it. I'm so ready for like the sweater weather, like the cuddle season, hot chocolate, all that. So winter, please come sooner. So excited to show you the fall decorations that I did for 2020. I did something like this before on my channel last year when I first started this YouTube channel. It wasn't the greatest quality, but some of the decorations are still pretty cute. So make sure to check it out right up there. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started on the first fall decoration DIY. Woo! So for my first DIY, I'm actually using this pumpkin that I used in my fall decoration in 2019. Just wanted to redo it because I didn't like how it looked anymore. So I took some yarn and I actually will be wrapping this around the pumpkin. I started putting hot glue at the bottom of the pumpkin and working my way up. But for every dent, I'm trying to make sure that I push it down so it keeps the shape of the pumpkin. So I grabbed some jute cord and I wanted to wrap this around the pumpkin as well, just to add like a different layer to it. So did the same thing that I did with the yarn and just hot glued it and wrapped it around the pumpkin. Of course, make sure you push onto the dent of the pumpkin because you want to keep its shape. After wrapping the jute cord around the pumpkin about 9 or 10 times, I went back with the yarn and I just continued wrapping it around the pumpkin. Don't you think that the different layers looks pretty cool? I think so. Voila, and there you have it. I think it's really plain still, so we're not done yet. So I added this burlap yarn thing that I've used in my past DIYs if you guys have been watching my videos before. So I got this at the Dollar Tree as well, so I'm just using that and wrapping it around the pumpkin. So cute. So glad that I was able to redo something that I did last year to fit my aesthetic a little bit more this year. I think it's adorable. It looks like a little knitted pumpkin thing. I really didn't knit anything. Definitely works with my whole decoration that I have in my living room now. All right, on to the next. So I got this foam pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, and yeah, when you're pulling off the tag, just be careful. Don't be like me and pull it too hard because I did break a piece off, but it's totally fine. You can't tell at the end anyways. So this method that I'm going to be doing is something that you've probably seen all around YouTube, and I've done it before too, is just adding baking soda into your paint. I think this method is really cool because after everything dries up, it looks like this ceramic piece. Really cool. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore what happened, but yeah, I'm adding baking soda. I'm adding about 50% baking soda and 50% paint, but if you want it a little bit more smooth and not as textured, then just add less baking soda. So the first color came out kind of like poop, so that's why I added a little bit more red into the paint, and yeah, this is what it turned out to look like. After you're done mixing the paint and the baking soda, of course, next step is just to paint onto the pumpkin. Don't worry if the first layer is not covering the whole pumpkin. You're going to let it dry and add an additional layer after that. I did about 2 layers for this and it covered most of the whole pumpkin. look how cool the pumpkin looks after it dries. But anyways, I took a toothpick and I started just sporadically putting holes all around the pumpkin. There wasn't like design or anything that I was following for this. You'll find out why I did that in the next step. So I noticed that the toothpick was making too small of a holes for my liking, so I did take the end of my paintbrush and I actually just poked it through the holes that were pre-made from the toothpick and made the holes a little bit bigger. Next step was to cut a little hole at the bottom of the pumpkin using an X-Acto knife, and then I got these candles from the Dollar Tree, and yes, it wasn't the greatest quality because it wasn't turning on, so I had to open up the candle and kind of like rewire things, and it did end up working at the end. I just couldn't turn it on and off anymore, but it still looked pretty cool. So this is what it would look like if the candle did work, but yeah, I'm just using the flashlight from my phone to show you what it looks like as an example. So we're not done yet. Of course, it's still a little bit too plain for me, so I grabbed these cotton twine that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I kind of measured the top part of this pumpkin out because that's where I'm gonna actually glue it down. So I cut that piece out, and then I measured the length of the pumpkin, and then I cut about 20 pieces that are about the same length because I am trying to make like a macrame around the pumpkin. You'll see what I'm talking about. So how I'm attaching the strands to the main cord is just by using the lark's head knot, and then after that I'm just pretty much pairing 2 by 2 and making square knots in between each of the strands because I want it to somehow connect and make a macrame. If you don't know what a square knot is, definitely check out my other videos because I go into detail of how to do it. So after you're done with that, I just put it back onto the pumpkin and made sure that I'm spreading all the knots evenly around the pumpkin and then making sure that it still fits before I start gluing it down. Once I was done gluing it down, I added more square knots all around the pumpkin. So after I was done with all the square knots, I just snipped off the ends because it was too long and I didn't want it dragging at the bottom of the pumpkin. Now we can start on the stem. So normally you can use like a pipe cleaner and bend it in half, stick it through the foam the pumpkin comes with, and then wrap a burlap lace around it. But I didn't have a pipe cleaner, so I am using like one of my stems that I got from my faux flowers and I used that instead, but it works the same way, trust me. Well, there it is, guys. I hope that you guys liked it. I think it's so unique. It's very different. I haven't seen anything like this. Jimmy says it reminds him of a strawberry, which is kind of sad because I wasn't going for a strawberry, but it turned out to look like one if you really do look at it. Dollar Tree candles, I probably won't ever buy again. Actually work that way. Yum, thanks. Yeah. Dude, we're wearing the same shirt. She's copying me. It's the twins video all over again. So I just noticed that there's a lot of pumpkins in this DIY video, but it's totally fine because it is fall, so we're just gonna go with it, okay guys? So I got this foam pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, of course, and then I'm just taking white acrylic paint and just painting that all over this pumpkin as normal, letting it dry, and then adding an additional layer. Guys, watch this. Wow, great transition, right? No, I still need to work on it. So here I just grabbed some permanent marker and I started just drawing some vines on it. I did choose the color black because I felt like it stands out more, but you can choose whatever color you want. From there, I just took this really pretty acrylic paint that I got from Target in the color copper, and then I just started painting on some leaves. These leaves I did making a little bit bigger, but yeah, just start doodling away and show off your creative side. So no stem looks the same, so don't worry if it's not perfect and it doesn't match each other. Just have fun with it. I didn't really have like a design of where I wanted to place all these vines. I just did where I felt like it should have a vine. And for the stem, all I did was just paint it copper, and there you go. So, what did you guys think of it? I thought it was so freaking cute. I know I say cute all the time, but look at it. It's so freaking cute. Totally works with my aesthetic, and I think it's adorable. Like, so much wow. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the next DIY. Woo! Hey look, it's not a pumpkin. Yay! So I got this acorn sign from the Dollar Tree, and I originally had this really cool idea. So what I did was Google signs for fall, and I found this one that I really liked that says hello fall. I don't have the best handwriting, so of course I just wanted to have an example where I can look at and start sketching that out, and that's what I did onto the sign. So I did have to resketch it because the words were a little bit too high for me, so I resketched it and brought it down. So here is where I messed up. Honestly, I thought this was going to be such a good idea, you know, using hot glue and making the sign rise up a little bit more, but because my technique wasn't that great and it was all bumpy and all over the place, you'll see me like removing everything, but I'm going to show you anyways. So I also got these leaves from the Dollar Tree, and all I did was just cut them out and glue it on top of the acorn. In my head, I thought this was gonna look really cute, but like after looking at it, I was just like, nah, you gotta redo it. So what I ended up doing was just removing the hot glue, repainting the sign. That's why it's a little messed up, but trust me, if you just started with this whole thing to begin with, it's not gonna look as bad as mine. But yeah, I just took some of the cotton twine and actually made the letters out of the cotton twine. Well, there you go, guys. There's the sign. It says Hello Fall and not Hella Fall. My sisters thought it was Hella Fall, so I did have to cut a little bit off the O so it looks like an O and not an A. I think it's super cute. It looks like a gingerbread cookie, kind of. Yeah, definitely different from what I'm used to because it's not pink, but you know, it's definitely fall. It calls out fall for sure. All right, everyone, that's all for this video. I hope that you guys liked all the fall decorations. I know there's definitely a lot of pumpkins in there, but they're all unique in their own different ways. So I hope that you guys liked it. Make sure to comment down below what your favorite DIY was in this video. I would love to see it. Make sure you thumbs it up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll tell my dogs to bark at you if you don't turn on your post notifications. Make sure you do that so you get notified whenever I post up another video. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! If it's not the helicopter, it's my dogs.